Hello, hello, and welcome back to game number 4 of the Collegiate Star League Grand Finals between the University of Waterloo and the University of British Columbia, who right now is up 2-1, but they just came off an amazing loss. You know, I probably worded that sentence incorrectly. University of Waterloo has just come off an amazing win. So it does mean a little bit of momentum is lying in Waterloo's court. The 2v2 can absolutely never overlook that, and I really think that Super Ninja and La 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 have been a nice little crutch for Waterloo coming into this grand final because they always get those solid wins in their 2v2 games. But now, it looks like we're going to move on to another 1v1, a PvZ on Shakuras Plateau. But before we do, I want to let everyone know that Zaris and Hazley Nutt, who are the good old organizers, managers, they are the collective man. Those guys rule. Oh my gosh. This is for you for making this event happen. 144 schools involved. And only 2 remain. And they're Canadian. Let's go find out how those Canadians do it. As we go into game number 4, we have ValiditySAGA, who, as you may or may not know, is a Grandmaster Protoss. He is in the bottom left. He is from the University of British Columbia. And in the bottom right, we have xiGerbil from 11 Gaming. That is starting to be one of those up-and-coming teams, having many uber-duper good players on it. But Gerbil is a Master Zerg, which makes me frown because Gerbil was one of the big crutch players for University of Waterloo in the Brood War CSL days and has transitioned on to be a solid Zerg in StarCraft 2. Looks like he's going for a... Whoa! He didn't cancel that extractor. Whoa! Looks like he's canceling both. Ooh. Did go for a double extractor trick, a solid way to do an opening, but he should have done that a little bit more delayedly. He's going for 12 drones and then an overlord, a very fun way to open, gets you a lot of money early on, generally helps you 5 or 6 seconds with some of those early pool or early hatch builds. ValiditySAGA looks like he is going for a pylon at his choke. Notice again, this is Shakuras Plateau, no pylon wall-off gimmicks going to be happening here, but I'm a little surprised to not see ValiditySAGA go for that very early expo. We do see xiGerbil did end up throwing down a relatively early pool. It looks like a 12 pool, so really helping to reveal why he went for that early double extractor trick. So we do see now that ValiditySAGA is getting a good look at everything around this base, and ValiditySAGA is really hoping this is the information that will allow him to give the University of British Columbia an extra frickin' win. And there's the assimilator going down right now for ValiditySAGA. Again, very standard build for a general Protoss, I'd say, but I'm a little surprised to not see a very fast, expand-oriented player. I would just like to note that ValiditySAGA, for any of you who did not know, beat none other than Liquid TLO in the first round of the Saga City Invitational. So he is an absolutely potent player. Do not underestimate him in the slightest, as I'm sure xiGerbil would not do, as that guy just really always kind of wants to win really bad. He's a fan of winning for his team. We do see the usual very fast cybernetics core going down for ValiditySAGA, a Zealot en route to do the early wall off, but ValiditySAGA still has not yet gotten a second gas. We'll definitely want to be doing that soon. Is he going for something a little bit unusual? Wow! Looks like he is getting a very early pylon here. Not getting that second gas geyser yet. That is going to be quite unusual. Could be going for an early stalker play. If he did go for a sentry, that would blow my frickin' mind, but no, my mind shall not be blown. My mind will stay as is. xiGerbil now taking his hatch at his natural expansion. We see that he's continued to add guys back into the gas geyser. He is going to just now begin Zergling speed. Notice this amazing timing. It takes just under 2 minutes to get Zergling speed done, and that means it will finish at 6 minutes, and if you chrono boost a cybernetics core, it will also finish a little after 6 minutes. So Gerbil gonna have that Zergling speed in time to deal with any sort of warp gate push, and it looks like ValiditySAGA is going for 3 gateways early on, but is instead of going for a sentry expand, he's going to go for a Zealot Stalker pressure expand. Around now is when you'd add on that extra geyser. Sometimes you'd even go and take an expansion and then add on a very late second geyser, but either way, the important fact remains that ValiditySAGA is doing some big aggression early on. He's trying to exploit the fact that this was not a speed rush that was done. So we are seeing that Gerbil, oh no, doesn't have any Zerglings making, was actually waiting until the last possible full second to begin making those Zerglings. Now that those drones have transferred, those can be big points of vulnerability. ValiditySAGA now moving in, doing a little bit more damage. Already has 3 kills on the Stalker. Tasty drones. Num, 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 num. xiGerbil trying to run around, trying to get into a good position. But the fairly uncommon Zealot Stalker push that is increasingly growing in popularity is going to be quite a scary little push for this Zerg player to deal with. ValiditySAGA doing some amazing micro control, continuing to pick off as best he can with his remaining units, but now that Zergling speed is done, these are now sacrificial units. Still no gas from ValiditySAGA. He don't give a damn. There's a Nexus going down, his expansion is up, and a good bit of damage has been done. The fact that there's already 11 speed Zerglings heading towards the opponent base, 15 out on the map, not where Zerg wants to be. Look at that, 21 versus 29 workers just moments ago. Exactly what ValiditySAGA wants to do with that early push. We now see Zealots and Sentries continuing to warp in from ValiditySAGA. Wants to get good control over that front as he did not have a high sentry count early. This makes him a little bit vulnerable to early Ling Roach pushes, but I think that Gerbil has a long-term game plan in store, has nothing of the sort incoming except for exactly a Roach Warren. Oh. There's the Robo Facility going down for ValiditySAGA. No extra gateways, no extra forge to do any kind of upgrade or even any cannon defense. He's just going straight man mode, fast Robo, can easily begin pooping out some Immortals or even get the classic Observer for scouting. But really, if you're in ValiditySAGA's position, you don't need an Observer to do any sort of scouting at this point in time. You know exactly where your opponent's at. You know his lair is likely not started yet at all because of the pressure that you put on early. So you're not going to be up against any sort of crazy Roach burrow for a little bit, so you can easily churn out some Immortals right at the outset. And you don't even need to scout into his base because, hey, Immortals are awesome. And there's the Assimilator going down right now for ValiditySAGA. Always a sign of a good player when you see them get just one Geyser with their expansion. It means they have a good sense of exactly how much economy they need. We see that coming out from both players. There's the very fast Spine Crawler opening from xiGerbil. Looks like he's going to be gearing up to do a little bit of Roach Hydra-ing in the mid-game. An Observer now will be the tech pattern of choice. You heard me say that you probably don't need to get any kind of Observer early on. This is always the danger when you get an Observer. If you get it, it's okay as long as you have a very sharp response to what you scout. Investing in any sort of scout necessitates that you respond in a way that makes up for that big investment. So, will ValiditySAGA have a good response planned given his play thus far? My vote is yes. Very good. I'm awesome. There's xiGerbil now moving out with a lot of Roaches. Wow, 8 Roaches. He doesn't even have speed done. Is actually, whoa, his layer only just now finished. No speed coming out. Looks like it's going to be some kind of early pressure from xiGerbil. We already see that one Immortal is out. Second one en route as well. But look at ValiditySAGA already constricting all the space with those pylons and this robotics facility, planting down more pylons to the fringe, not just for spotting, but also for warp-ins on the low ground. Still just 3 gateways on the field right now, but it looks like Zerg is rapidly massing up a big force of Roaches. But where's the speed? Oh no, he desperately needs to get that speed upgrade. Third hatch now going down for Gerbil. He does need to begin extending the creep up there. A lot of ways that you can lose that early third hatch. Almost all of them involve you not having creep joined there, whether it be Queens for defense against air or slow Roaches for defense against ground. Need that speed and that creep. And as you know, the fastest way to spread creep is just to link to the hatchery's Facebook page, and then the creep will spread all by itself. Man, that was good. Alright, sweet. We do now see a whole bunch of Roaches continue to be produced from Gerbil. Extending into the center of the map, there is that speed moving down right now for xiGerbil, so that way he can get a good amount of scouting, good amount of coverage on the map. The Overseer pulling back after it has seen absolutely everything in the base, and no more probes for you! And no more Chrono Boost as well. Very tragic little outcome there, and xiGerbil's in a pretty decent position, but ValiditySAGA's moving out with a relatively large force. Oh no, he's going to get cut in half! Ooh, those force fields, not the best force fields. Those Roaches in the back, not a lot of units got cut off there, but still, ValiditySAGA's unit mix is so much bigger than Gerbil's that Gerbil is just getting torn to shreds, and with slow Roaches, oh, slow Roaches are no-go Roaches as far as I'm concerned. And there we see those Roaches at the top trying to do a little bit of poke and prod and damage, but it is not going to work out too well because even though he will man the front and hold the watchtower, he'll be dead in seconds. So we do see Zerglings and Roaches continuing to be produced. ValiditySAGA still has a decent amount of units remaining, but often we see Protosses pull back for reinforcements at this point and then do a little bit stronger of a late second push xiGerbil trying to reposition, trying to make sure that he doesn't get in any position where he can be force fielded off, but there are just too many anti-roach slash Zergling units there. Just ripping everything to shreds. Gerbil has not really gotten the chance to get his army up and running. Now going to be going for that ever so popular tunneling claws, and there's the speed. Oh, so late. And now ValiditySAGA easily advancing forward, annihilating this third base that never even really got the chance to get itself up and running. These Immortals, 10 kills, 8 kills, 1 kill. Incredible amount of damage dealt by all of those Immortals, and it looks like Gerbil might be going for a counterattack, or at the very least trying to cut off reinforcements. There's the +1 going down. Looks like ValiditySAGA killing off a pylon that he initially threw down to make himself a little bit of a wall. And ValiditySAGA still only has just 3 gateways worth of units, just now getting gateways 4 and 5 up and running. Really goes to show you the amount of power you can deal with early 3-gate robo pressure. And there now we saw a roach pop up, but I didn't know that ValiditySAGA was a magician and a roach, and it disappears! Ah, clap, 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 clap. David Blaine couldn't make a roach disappear that fast. Thank God ValiditySAGA, a student at UCB, is up for the job. xiGerbil from University of Waterloo, trying to run into a good position, trying to find somewhere where he can hide these little cuties until he can get that roach burrow in a good spot. Keep in mind, he still has that as a little bit of a crutch, but right now, as all these units are wandering up here, we see that ValiditySAGA cannot take or make any aggression, so he's going to be taking this third base and still doing everything he can to cut off these units. That force was really not that big of a threat, but as far as ValiditySAGA is concerned, they're all free units. So nothing but Stalkers and Immortals getting produced by Validity. We see still 5 gateways on the field. Twilight Council coming up, not just for Blink, but also for that +2 attack upgrade. Gerbil now gearing up to take his third. His speed still is not done, and the creep join between the bases has dissipated, so that does mean that Gerbil is going to be in a much worse spot. He needs to do a lot of damage here. The Immortals running up to the front. Force fields don't do too much, but it does not matter at this point with those 6 Immortals out on the field. Still no speed from Gerbil. He's trying to get into a good position, but he is already 60 feet behind his opponent. ValiditySAGA marching right on up. Oh, force fielding off the reinforcements. Even with the burrow, we're going to see that hatch get one-shotted in no time. There's a transfuse, keeps it alive for half a second more, but it does fall. xiGerbil looks like he's going to be moving in to try to do some kind of counterattack to this Nexus that is at the south position. All the drones, all the Zerglings trying to swing around, do anything that they can. Just defense mode right now for Gerbil, praying that he can do a successful counterattack, and it looks like it just might work. But the real concern for Gerbil is this huge force making its way into the main, ripping apart everything, and there goes down the Evolution Chamber at the front. A couple Broodlings pop up, but definitely not enough to hold off that force. More Stalkers and Immortals at the front line. Saga doing a good job microing back so that way the Immortal can do as much damage as it can before it inevitably ends up falling. But with this huge force of 7 Immortals and 13 Stalkers, it is just going to be nearly impossible for Gerbil to be able to stay alive. And look at this! ValiditySAGA with just Warp-Ins, Probes, and a single Immortal holds off the counterattack. Good game! University of British Columbia now is 3-1, just a single win away from being crowned the CSL Grand Champions and the Kings of Canadian Schools here in the Grand Finals. Whatever you do, don't go anywhere. I'm Day 9. This is the Collegiate Star League Grand Finals. Open up overlay. Yeah, gonna be back in just a second.